there's a young man who'd been looking for a very long time. A friend of mine who helps do matchmaking reached out to me about this young man that she was very impressed with. And one of the things she told me about him was that he seemed to really know what he wanted, and he was very quick about saying, no, I don't think this match is going to work. And he was Ivy League educated, handsome, from a good family, religious, had a really good reputation, beautiful manners, and it was in a high-earning profession. And I suggested a young woman that I knew who's attractive, educated, came from a good family, was religious, funny, had a great personality. And he told the other matchmaking auntie, the second he saw the photograph and the biodata of the young woman that I was recommending, he said, I think she's the one. That's how quickly he knew. Now, the couple started talking to each other, and they really hit it off. They enjoyed each other's company. They respected one another. They seemed to have the same goals, but everything came to a screeching halt when the young woman found out, the young man let her know, that he had two friendships that were very, very important to him. And these friendships were single women that he talks to every week. He gets their advice about everything. They're very important to him. He spends one-on-one time with them alone. And the young woman, that she wasn't used to that. She comes from an environment and a family and a community where men and women don't have casual friendships or even deep friendships. And she didn't have any male friends of her own. And one of the things she said to him was, well, what if I told you that I want to go out to dinner with a guy who's my best friend from high school, and he and I are going to go out to dinner without you? And he said to her, well, I would trust you. I wouldn't question that. I would let you go. And she believes, and I actually agree with her, she believes that men and women can't just be friends, right? And even the Prophet ﷺ told us that. He said that when a man and woman are alone together, the third one with them is shaitan. And so she followed those instructions, and she believes that men and women having friendships can eventually lead to emotional affairs, if not physical affairs. And so the whole thing ended because of that value disagreement. Their values weren't aligned, even though everything else seemed to be. And one thing I will give him credit for is when he told the other matchmaking auntie why things ended, and he was very sad about it. She was really sad about it as well. He did tell her that there was something about me that I wasn't able to change that was important to her. He didn't blame her. He didn't throw her under the bus and say she was rigid or too conservative or judgmental. He owned it, that he wasn't willing to change this thing about himself. It was an important value to him to be able to have these female friendships, and it didn't align with the young woman he was speaking with. So the key takeaway from that example is that the discussion about values and goals needs to take place sooner rather than later in the relationship. The only reason that young woman was able to walk away, even though she did shed tears over it, was that she wasn't infatuated. She was able to see clearly. And people often make the mistake of thinking that if they have a few common interests and a couple of common goals, and if they're attracted, that's enough. But the number one factor for marital dissatisfaction is dissimilarity in backgrounds, values, and role orientations. And this is according to Dr. Jeffrey Larson in his book, Should We Stay Together?